When you look at the lower face, you've got a jawbone, which is your mandible. The mandible's a fixed container. And then you've got the neck, and the neck has skin. It has fat on under the skin. It then has a platysma muscle, which is a superficial muscle. Then you have another layer of fat. Then you have another layer of muscles. You have another layer of glands, and then another layer of muscles, and then a bone. So the key is, will all of those things fit inside the container? If you've got a 1 liter Coke bottle and you have 1 liter of Coke, it fits together perfectly and you have a neck like Jessica Alba. What we're seeing is a lot of the plastic surgeons are trying to take this platysma and they tighten it with the idea that they're going to lift or create a hammock or going to create this or that or the other, a setback by pulling this muscle really tight, and it's going to push all that content back in the mouth where the tongue is moving. The mouth is always going. When you're eating, every time you eat, you're pushing all that content down. It'll look awesome for Instagram for about 3 months. You might get 6 months. At a year, it's going to start to fail. Now, the other failure is going to be in the bands that you're talking about. So the platysma creates these, in the country they call them leaders, they're bands, but this is a huge muscle. So the so the so the platysma, the inside of the platysma is here. It goes to the jaw. The middle of the platysma starts down on your deltoid, goes all the way to the corner of your mouth. And then the third part of the platysma goes to your ear and goes across your face. So the platysma is not one muscle. It's actually 3 different muscles with 3 different functions. So therefore, you have to understand that anatomy, because if you're trying to pull over here and affect this medial band, this inside band, it does not work. If you're trying to create a corset to tighten this inside band and hold everything up, it's not going to work. So what you need is volumetric balance, number 1, which means that you have to go into the deep aspect of the neck. My evolution in neck lifting goes back 25 years because I kept failing with my platysma, and people come back and they say, my neck is not as good as I want it to be. And I look at them and say, you're right. I like to listen to my patients. They tell me what's right and what's wrong. And I said, I'm not working. This isn't working out. I'm an anatomist by training. I was had access to the universities, and I was teaching anatomy around the world. So I was play around the cadavers and understand what the muscle is. And I ultimately taught myself how to reduce the muscles and, more importantly, reduce the submandibular glands. So there's maybe 3 or 4 or 5 of us in the world that were doing this 10 years ago. Fast forward to 2026. You go on Instagram now and you'll see that everybody is talking about submandibular glands.
Everybody. It's one of the questions. Do you remove them? Do you keep them? It's one of the questions.
In the last 18 months, I've gone from talking about why we do it to now I'm espousing safety. I've done over 2,000 glands in my lifetime. I have patients. I have a paper coming out with over about 1,082 glands that we've reduced, and I'm creating an algorithm so that young, inexperienced, or even older, just inexperienced surgeons can do it safely, because it's not a safe procedure if you don't know how to do it. There's a handful of us who've written all the papers in the last decade and a half, and our complication rate is nil. But we've gone really slow. We've helped each other in the cadaver lab, and it took us 25 years to learn how to do it. But what's going to happen, I'm afraid, and I talk about this, I've done editorials, that the submandibular gland reduction has been safe to this date. But it's going to turn into the Brazilian butt lift of years gone by, because Brazilian butt lift used to be safe.
Yeah.